Welcome back. It's a six-figure mastermind, and right now we're going to go in depth on 10 ways you can tell that someone might not exactly be telling you the truth, so stay tuned. Okay, we're going to go through this list of 10 things. You might want to write these down, 10 ways to tell if someone's lying to you. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer right in the front of this video, okay? Some people might want to use these 10 ways to tell if someone's lying to you in order to manipulate and use them to lie to someone else. You're not allowed to do that, okay? That's no bueno. Okay, Pinky promise me that you won't do that. Okay, this is purely for you in you growing your business to tell, if this is a great joint venture to work with, if this is someone that's got the results that they say they have, if someone is, definitely if someone is going to try and pitch you something and you want to have kind of an idea of whether or not that's a good to go thing or something I should totally avoid. So watch for these 10 signs. The first one, inconsistencies. If someone is unable to tell you the same story twice in a row, that's a red flag. Now, if it's going to be like, oh, well, now stop and tell me over that story again right now, that's probably not, the good litmus test for this. I'm talking about if someone says, I did X, Y, Z, and then you talk to them 4 days later and they tell you something different, that's a red flag. So that's number one. Number two, it's called the Pinocchio effect. Now, you've all seen Disney's movie, you've all seen Pinocchio. When he lies, the nose grows longer, right? That's actually due to something that really happens in our physiology when we're not telling the truth. When we're not telling the truth, the blood vessels in our face tend to expand. Our adrenaline starts to pump, our heart pumps a little bit faster, and when that happens, it can cause an itching effect in the nose. So when someone's telling a lie, watch for this effect because oftentimes they'll reach up and touch their nose or give it a little scratch or a little nudge or one way or the other. It's called the Pinocchio effect, okay? And it's due to the subconscious brain enlarging those blood vessels to get your heart pumping quicker and get more blood to all of the parts of your body that it needs. It's part of the flight or flight reflex. It's part of the thinking reflex. It's the Pinocchio effect. Watch for that. Number three, superlatives. Now, what's a superlative? A superlative is an absolute. It's words like never or always or absolutely, something that means every time. Superlatives can be used to kind of conceal, cover up, or even stretch the truth. Now, if I were to say, always this happens or never this happens, it's kind of an unsustainable guarantee. It doesn't allow for the little loopholes that sometimes happen in business or in conversation or especially in results. So watch for superlatives. Keep an ear out for that and listen in people's conversation whether or not they're using that kind of language and that kind of terminology. Number four, watch for shutdown. Zoom. Shut down when you see it. It's this, you don't have a response. People tend to even, watch the body language. Check this out. So when someone's shut down, they'll usually, slouch a little bit more. They'll usually have this downward glance. They will go silent. They won't respond to you. So shut down when you're having a conversation with someone and they just can't produce an answer, that can often be a signal that they're not telling you the truth. Number five, qualifying language. And I use qualifying language. This is a phrase that I use to describe when people say, especially when they're giving you an answer, when they preface it with, in all honesty, or if I were to tell the truth, or if I were to guess, or if I were to lay my hand on a stack of Bibles and swear by it, okay, this if language, this qualifying language. This language can be used to say, I'm not telling you the truth all the time. And if you think about it, if I were to say, if I were to be honest with you right now, it makes me question, well, when are you not being honest with me, right? So it can be an indicator that there are some little white lies, maybe some big dark lies floating around that conversation. So watch for qualifying language. Number six, when you ask a question and get a no answer in conjunction with I separation, in conjunction with, you'll see this in movies all the time. Directors of movies are experts at showing people how to lie and when. And when you see this in movies, it's because it happens in real life. So if you have someone that's saying no, and watch, they look away, and they'll even change the tone of their voice a little bit. No, Okay, watch for that. It's like a micro expression, right? If you ever go on Netflix and watch the show Lie to Me, I highly recommend it. It's based on some really cool science. So if you get that no answer in conjunction with a separation of eye contact or an eye movement, that can be another indicator. Number 7, mismatched emotions. This shows up in a couple of different ways. So let's say that someone is telling you something that's a really sad or heartfelt or deep emotion, that kind of a story. If they have this big smile on their face while they're telling you about this story, that's a mismatch. That says something's off here. Maybe there's some lack of truth that's going on. Maybe there's some exaggeration. Another way to watch for this is if you get an answer for someone and it doesn't match their body language. So if you get a yes answer and they're going like this, their whole body is screaming no while their voice is saying yes, or even vice versa. If they say no and their head is going like this, no way. That's a total mismatch. Their body is screaming no or yes when their voice is saying something different. And that's because each of us have 100 words that come out of our mouth for every 400 words that are going on in our brain. And those 400 words need to go somewhere. They need to be expressed somewhere. So our subconscious is going to do it through our body. It's going to show up in our tone, and it's going to show up in our body language. So watch for that mismatch. That can be a really big indicator that you're not getting the full truth. Number 8, anger. The anger response is a defense mechanism when someone feels attacked. And when someone feels attacked, it can often be because they don't feel like they feel safe telling the truth. And when they don't feel safe telling the truth, they're not going to tell you the truth, and they will throw up a wall of defensiveness and or anger in response to that. So when you have someone that's, you're sitting down with, and you're maybe questioning their results, and you're trying to figure out, maybe they said they had a 5,000 person list. You want to do a joint venture with someone, right? They have this 5,000 person list, and you get the list from them. There's only 2,500 people on there, and you ask them a question about it. If they respond with an anger or a defensiveness or even justification, that can be an indicator that they're not giving you the whole truth. Number 9, the stress test. You become like lie detector masters with this whole list here. Number 9 with this stress test, this is a big indicator. When you're talking to someone and you're trying to figure out whether or not they're telling the truth, just observe how stressed out they are. If you're talking with a pathological liar, this is someone that has huge experience in lying, they will actually seem overly relaxed when they're lying to you. It's a sign of that ego. But when you're dealing with someone that's not a pathological liar and they're just not used to it and they don't do it as habit, they just have to do it in the moment, they will get stressed. So watch for indicators of stress. Fists balled up in tight fists, that's an indicator of stress. This right here, when you see this tension in the neck right here, that can be an indicator of stress. When you see them glancing around and lots of fidgeting and fixing and pulling on clothing or constantly making adjustments, or their feet are pointing away from you when they're talking to you, those are also indicators of stress. And when someone is stressed, it's usually because they're put on the spot and they have to make something up. So keep an eye out for that. Number 10, this is the final one. Check your gut. Nothing beats intuition. So when you're doing a gut check, say, okay, how do I really feel? What's really going on here? Based on everything that I know of this person, based on their motives, based on what we're trying to build together, and based on what I'm hearing, how does it feel in my gut? Do a gut check on whether or not you feel like this person is telling you the truth, and just ask open and honest and non-confrontational questions. When you're trying to figure out and get to the bottom of it, just ask. Ask them openly, ask them honestly, and put them against this checklist. And remember, this isn't ultimate science. This isn't 100% foolproof. These are just indicators for what to look for if you have a question as to whether or not someone's giving you the full story. All right, thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked today's video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.